Hey everybody. This past week I've been running the Anker EverFrost 2 fridge on a real camping trip out here in Georgia. So it's been low to mid 90s with like 80 to 90% humidity. I have kept it in the back of my truck, so it hasn't been in real direct sunlight. So hopefully that'll give you some reference on how long it can last in real world situations. So the first time I had it, as soon as I got out of the box, I just plugged it into the wall and let it sit for 24 hours getting a charge. Um, the next morning, I grabbed it and just threw it in the back of the truck. Um, so it was shaded. There's probably some direct sunlight on it throughout the day, but with a pop-up tent like this, it at least had some cover. I started at 8 o'clock in the morning with 100% charge, and it lasted 24, 26 hours. It lasted till 10:30. This was this was with the smart mode activated. I didn't have it in eco. So if you use it in smart mode, it's only going to last a day with one battery. I recharged it, and the next day I filled it full of food. Second day, uh, I had it plugged into the Anker SOLIX just to keep it at 100%. But one problem I ran into is with this charging brick is any little bump and it comes undone. So what I've done is I've ran some electrical tape around this, wrapped it around a couple of times, and held it in place. So that way, especially if you're doing any kind of overlanding, you're gonna hit a pothole or some washboard or something, and it's gonna fall out. And it did that when I was traveling from Atlanta to North Carolina in smart mode, and it wasn't connected to the Anker because I was trying to see how much battery it would drain from the Anker if it was at 100%, and then just driving for 3 hours. So I lost like 30% of my battery from the Anker, from the EverFrost 2, because it disconnected because of this power brick. So this is something they need to fix, because like with a laptop battery, I can fling that thing around and it won't, it won't come undone. It locks in pretty well. So that's an issue. One thing that I have is I have the ShadowFlux 220 solar on the roof of my truck. So I just run that directly into the Anker SOLIX C1000, and then I just connect the fridge to the battery. And I've gone 8 days straight, and I think the battery was down to 70% because of some cloudy days. So generally, if I'm in direct sunlight on that solar panel, I can get anywhere from 150 to 200 watts of charging that. And so that will easily cover the fridge being charged, because it takes 108 watts to charge this at 86 watts. So you do have some loss there, but I can easily charge my phone and the fridge at the same time and still charge that battery. If it's getting at least 45 watts, will sustain the fridge, because the fridge, if it's 100% charged, will only draw 40 watts to keep itself topped off. So that's pretty good. Now, if it's overcast multiple days in a row, like if you're doing like 6 days of overcast or in a shaded spot, you're gonna have to find a way to recharge. So, but for me, it's been fine so far. How much can you store in the fridge? That's something I see other people curious about, because you see 40 quart or you see 40 liter, 42 quart, whatever the hell it is. You see that and you're like, what can you actually store? Because especially if you get like a 42 quart in the store that needs ice, there's hardly any storage space in that. So I put in a 6-pack of soda, 3 Monster energy drinks, 2 bottles of coffee creamer, bacon, 4 burger patties, some ground turkey, 18 eggs, butter, 2 packages of shredded cheese, 2 bags of mini carrots, a head of broccoli, a couple bell peppers, and some jalapenos. And that's enough room that once I cut into my onion, I can throw that in there, or anything else like that that might be a dry good that once you open and use, you can put in there. So there's still a little bit of room left in there. I could throw a couple more things. But as I cook, it will also free up more space. So overall, for 2 people, I think you got at least a week's worth of food between that and your dry goods. If you meal prep, I think you can easily get a week or 2 worth of food if you bag your own stuff or something like that. So depending on the number of people, of course. But for me, like I'm doing a 2-week camping trip right now, I think I've easily got enough food for 2 weeks. Final thoughts. Is it worth it? 100% yes. Is it comparable to just buying a couple bags of ice? No. But if I'm, somewhere out here like now where I just want to camp out for 2 weeks, do some trails and not run into town or do stupid shit like that, this is a much better setup. Because otherwise every 4 days, 3 or 4 days, I would be going out to track down some ice and drain my cooler and all this stuff. Yeah, so like I said, I've already done 8 days with this thing. I could easily do 14 and not even worry about it, as long as I have some kind of sunlight where I can put the solar panel.